rest of the individuals who are walking around just thankful that you've got an opportunity to shine.
That's really a sad situation that we are in because, you know, there are always going to be people that are really not going to go with, you know, the mandated program. You know, that you are supposed to just, you know, hang your head and, you know, want to just be working. But everybody's not going to go along with that program. Everybody is not brainwashed. And it's very, very sad that, you know, for us of color to be in positions like you, Monique, like you, Sydney, to where you can say, okay, you know, I'm in this public eye, but I'm not going to go along with this program that you have to worry about, okay, well, am I going to be able to feed my family tomorrow because they're going to cut me off? That is a very, very sad situation.
Yes. We thank you for your call, baby.
Very much, very much. And we love you back. And when you have individuals like a gentleman who's the president of Warner Brothers, his name is Peter Roth.
Come on.
And we pitched a show. And Miss, I can't remember her first name, Collins White, lady over there, who we pitched the show to, Miss Collins White. And she appreciated the pitch, and we expressed to her that we needed to be executive producers. And she said, I agree. And she took the pitch. But the president, Peter Roth, felt like he didn't want that to happen because he didn't feel that actors should have an opportunity to be executive producers because it could create a problem where they had too much power. And despite the fact that we are award-winning executive producers, because we have both won a multitude of awards, one of the most proud that we've won is the NAACP, though we're proud of all of what we've received, Image Award. And when Peter Roth said this, what I found interesting is he was worried about us having too much power, yet he was not privy to the presentation that we gave to allow the woman, Miss Collins White, to say yes to the project, and then he's going to veto her decision and her advice. So when we talk about power, who would be and who is misusing their power? So when newspapers and articles, they start asking questions about why is it this way, why is it that way, ask Mr. Peter Roth why he does not believe that actors, though they've been executive producers before and are award-winning executive producers, and Monique and I should not get that opportunity when he had someone else who was a woman and happened to be a Caucasian woman in a position to make that decision, but yet he would veto her decision. Now, this is real talk, because oftentimes we'll have conversations and call names about our own, but we won't say anything when it's a Caucasian man and the president of Warner Brothers.
Come on.
We're going to have a real conversation and ask him why. He's probably a great guy, again, to have a cup of coffee and eat some caramels with. But as it pertains to business, when he says, I've been in the business 40 some odd years, and this is the way it's been done.
Come on.
Okay? When you've been in the business for 40 some odd years, I believe he said 47, and this is the way it's always been done. What does that sound like? What does that sound like?
It sounds like shackles on my feet. It sounds like shackles on my feet don't make me dance. And what happens is when you have those conversations, and I was privy to that conversation with Mr. Peter Roth, he had no words. See, that's what makes a black man difficult. He had no words, because when Sydney was saying, I need you to explain to me why that can't be, he had no words. I'm going to have to get back to you on that.
And I'm going to have to get back to you on it. Has he gotten back to me yet?
Well, has Oprah gotten back to me?
Okay, now.
Okay, see,
well,
because
keep it moving,
this is a conversation we had to have too, because what has happened is this, because you'll hear these comments, oh, don't nobody have time for that. Oh, that, and as some people are putting in the room, oh, just move on and show them you don't need them. Let me tell you something. There's some babies who's not born yet that are going to be infatuated with a place called Hollywood. And if we be quiet right now, guess what? They're going to be saying the same shit we're saying, as I'm saying the same shit Hattie McDaniel was saying. Don't y'all get it? Don't y'all get it? It's the same conversation, just different faces. I remember when TLC was on the Monique show and Tion, right? Tion, she said, listen, at what point do we get tired of the same story? It's just different faces. And in reference to black actresses in Hollywood, until we as black actresses stand together, or women of color, or the actresses in Hollywood, period, we're never going to make that list, y'all. And because we've been fed so much, you got yours, the other motherfucker got theirs to get, don't worry about them. See, if we don't come together, we're going to be having this conversation again next year and the year after that, not just the black women in Hollywood, but the actors in Hollywood.
And that's part of, though, this is another subject where we are really spending large amounts of money pulling down statues of Robert E. Lee. This is why I would say we shouldn't tear down those statues, y'all. We shouldn't tear them statues down because it's an ever-present reminder of the racism that we had to overcome. What we need to do is add an addendum to what they really were in their policies as opposed to speaking about them heroically and then having a counter statue raised up of individuals that were positive in the history of America. You want to go to the lines?
Let's go to the lines, my baby. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this?
Hey, Monique and Sydney. This is TJ out of Atlanta. How you doing today?
Hey, sweetness.
Wonderful.
Good. I was calling. Great, as always, great show. Great show. As I was listening, my question is this: you are in terms of the things that's changing in terms of the industry and technology. Is it time, like remember back in the day when music distribution had changed with the introduction of streaming music on the internet, and now this game has changed with streaming content using different devices. So, like for example, what you all are doing, it was a multitude of different people, and really bring awareness to what you're saying, at the same time create a demand, and at the same time monetize what you do. And is it a time with, even though the game with Oprah's and whomever, the Lee Daniels, is how to use this new technology and be ahead of the curve to not beat them, but create your own platform to where you're driving people to you. Because the game has changed to where now you can use this technology and reach the television viewers not only locally, but national and international. I mean, because things have changed a whole lot where you can create that demand. Like, that's why Netflix is the number one a streaming network because of this type of platform where now everybody's going over to Netflix. You hear about what's her name? Shonda Rhimes just left ABC. They don't pull her over, and now she's got her Shondaland over on Netflix because she can do what she wants, how she want to do it. And listen, so in that respect, Monique and Sydney, is that a way to change the game for what you all are doing and what the industry would need to do to elevate ourselves as a people, but at the same time showing that I am my master of my own faith?
We would be lying if we didn't tell you we weren't working on that as we speak.
Come on.
So everything that you just hit on right now is somebody that's forward in their thinking. And we're trying to be forward in our thinking and get with these individuals that are masters of streaming and things of that nature, because if we were to tell you that we were technologically savvy, we would think that the Viewmaster of old was advanced technology.
Click it.
But fortunately, we have some good people that we're connecting with that we can try to make that a reality, as well as the folks that we're working with right now. Maybe they'll listen to what it is that you're saying and try to broaden the scope of what it is that we're doing while we're here, because we love to build on what it is that we're doing, like our brother Chance the Rapper, with the streaming that he did. He's changing the game. So you're absolutely right.
Yes, ma'am.
And everything you just said.
Because I mean, to be honest, and that's what I do. And I'm looking at it in terms of, I look at entrepreneurs and how things have changed and evolved. And if I can help in any way, let me know. But if you're speaking today, this is a game changer. You can put your own profits, your own brand. I mean, everything. Because at the end of the day, the Tyler's and the Oprahs, they're going to, if you say the man, when you ask the man about, it's always been this way. And then he was saying it's not going to change. And if it does change, it won't be anytime soon. So therefore, leave him alone and leave the whole game alone, but at the same time still voice your opinion and be that motion in the ocean that kind of brings that current as you're doing, Monique. But at the same time, I'm over here showing a new way to other people who might not be savvy about how to stream content, how to reach another audience of people who are ready to know about you and learn about you and follow you along your path and your journey. So you guys, I mean, I'm tuning in every time I can. When it notifies me, I'm listening because it's the time to change the game. So if I can do anything to help, please let me know because you got a great platform and people need to know, and the stuff that you're sharing are very edifying to a mass of people.
Well, we got Brother James over here. Perhaps he could talk to you offline and make that happen so we can connect.
Thank you, my baby.
We appreciate it.
My pleasure. I won't be denied.
Okay, now, hold
Come
tight.
on. Now, you know, it's when you hear those type of conversations that let us know, again, keep going. Mm-hmm. Keep pushing. And for the babies that's in the room saying, y'all take y'all money and y'all go invest and y'all do something different, real shit, because this is what this show is. When Mr. Daniels made that comment and when Tyler Perry was having conversations that Monique was difficult, y'all, we took a fucking hit. We took a hit. And we took a hit in a way that people were saying, oh, difficult, demanding, we don't want to fuck with her. So I hear what y'all are saying, and believe me, we appreciate it. But what you got to understand is this. It ain't like we ain't doing the avenues we need to do, but when you have people that are quote-unquote supposed to be powerful, and they put out something about you that is not true, and you got not just the white executives, but you got niggas.
You've got people of color because people of color are not niggas. I'm going to have to step in on that.
No,
and I know what you mean.
You know what I mean, Daddy. And
I'm just saying punk ass.
I'm saying N-E-G-U-S. Thank you, Kendrick Lamar.
All
okay,
right.
The loyalty, royalty.
All right.
Now, but when you got them adding the icing on the cake, that's what makes it really bad. See, again, I have to go back to Kirk Flood. When you got a brother saying, listen, I want free agency because that way I can negotiate my own. And his attorney said, listen, if you make this noise, it will fuck you up. And he said, will it help the next one? And that man said, yes, it would. And the baseball players at that time that was with that brother allowed that man to die in despair with nothing. And they came out years later on a documentary saying he was right. We were just scared of losing what we had. See, I miss those brothers that stood around Muhammad Ali, Mr. Jim Brown, Mr. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. What was the other brothers that stood with him?
Bill Russell.
Mr. Bill Russell. And they were saying, listen, do what y'all going to do, but we standing with our brother. I appreciate the brothers, and let me say the brothers of all colors. I appreciate the brothers that are standing with Cole and Kirkpatrick saying, hey, man, we're going to take a knee. We're going to take a knee.
And his name is Colin
You know,
Kaepernick. You going to
Y'all
fuck a
know-
nigga's name.
y'all know
And you
who
going
I'm
to fuck somebody's name
My
up.
baby know who I'm talking about.
I'm thinking Colin Powell or
My
some
baby
shit.
know who I'm talking about.
No, he don't.
CK.
No, he don't.
CK.
Colin
My baby.
Kaepernick.
But I appreciate the brothers that are standing with him, the black ones and the white ones. And then you look at the ones who are not. And you're saying, when is the last time you actually read the whole words of that song? When is the last time you actually knew exactly what was being said? You haven't. What you are saying is, listen, I'm too scared that I'm going to lose what I have, so nigga, I'm going to stand against you and say, no, don't do that, that's wrong. As long as we keep doing that, my babies, guess where we'll still be sitting? Right here. When you have a gentleman that comes out, a professor, that says when we came out of slavery, we owned 1% of the wealth in this country. When you speed all the way up to right now, we still only own 1% of the wealth in this country. And you say, what's the problem? And we're the highest spending consumer in this country. You say, what's the problem? But again, when you got the 3 Mount Rushmores, because see, this is in our community, we expect it from them. We expect the mistreatment. We expect the, I don't want to have equality with you. We expect, don't you know that I'm supposed to be superior? Don't you? We expect it. Now, we run into some of them that say, listen, we don't buy into that bullshit. So I don't want y'all to think that every white person I've ever ran into in Hollywood has that feeling, because they don't. But we expect it. But when you got your own, when you got a brother that's saying, listen, it's low budget, but on the next one, I'm going to get you. But wait a minute, on this one, it made this amount of money. Who's getting this money on this one?
And since you brought up the national anthem, I just got to read, not the whole national anthem, but just the stanza.
Read it, Daddy.
Just the stanza that people are not getting. And that is, and where is that band who so vauntingly swore that the havoc of war and the battle's confusion, a home and a country should leave us no more. Their blood has washed out their foul footstep pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. I'm going to say it again now.
Say it, baby.
Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of the light or the gloom of the grave, and the star-spangled banner in triumph doth wave, or the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, thus be it ever when free men shall stand. I'm going to stop right there, but how do you say, I got a problem with Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, when right here you see the division in the Star-Spangled Banner where it says no refuge could save the hiring or the slave from the terror of the flight or the gloom of the grave, and the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph doth wave, or the land of the free and the home of the brave, which means that it is only applicable to those who are free, that they construe as brave. But you ask, why would Colin Kaepernick not stand for the Star-Spangled Banner? And simply put, it's because the Star-Spangled Banner did not stand for people like us and Colin Kaepernick.
You know, Daddy, we're going to go to the lines in a second, but I just want to respond to something because someone in the room said, is Monique the only actor that feels underpaid because there are a lot of other black actors that's working? Why don't you just ask them? Don't take my word for it. When you see that list and you see all the black actors that's working, why aren't we on that list? Why aren't we on that list? See, when you run into people that says, yes, you'll give me $5, but the pay should be $500. So do I work for this $5 and do I have to work 20 jobs to get to the $500? Or do I say, no. My counterpart's at the $500. So why am I not at the $500? So to answer your question, my brother or my sister, I hope you're not that one that will walk up on the stage and say, we working, y'all. Not we're being paid fairly.
Because the slaves,
we're working, y'all.
The slaves, they used to work too.
Come on, let's go to the lines. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this?
How you doing? My name is Ngozi. How are y'all today?
Hey, Ngozi.
Hi. Monique, I'm proud of you, sister. You stand by your word. You do what you have to do, because if we didn't have people to stand up for what's not right, and I know it's not an ego thing for you, Harriet Tubman would not have started freeing slaves had she not stood and said, you know what, I'm going to take a stand. So never let anyone, and I'm sure you're not, but I hear people that feel like you should have kept your mouth shut. Whatever the case may be, no, keep speaking your truth, okay? Because you are going to make a way for other women, other men of color that understand, like, you know what, it's not always about the money. It's about integrity and about that we have a right in this world to have equal, pay, equal whatever you fighting for, whatever it is. We have that right. We have to stop sitting around acting like we can't say nothing because we feel like, oh, I'm not gonna get my dollar.
Come on.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
You keep doing what you're doing, sister. Don't stop. No
Thank
matter
you.
What.
Thank you, Sister Gozi.
The other thing I want to say is, Colin Kaepernick, and everyone talking about boycott the NFL and everything like that. And I was thinking, and maybe somebody already said it, I just really got on. But my thought is this: you have more men of color in the NFL, basketball, pretty much the sports. Black men dominate the sports. Black women dominate the sports. The irony of it is that every last one of them got together and stood up for Colin Kaepernick. They would not be able to take our money away. Wouldn't be able to take even the sponsors and all these endorsements, they wouldn't shut it down because they know that every last black athlete is the one that's keeping them money in their pockets because mainly black people are the ones that is buying the Nike, buying the Under Armour and stuff like that. So if every last one of them stand, they wouldn't lose. Not at all. Think about it.
They couldn't lose. They couldn't lose.
Come
You're
on,
right.
baby.
You're
They
right.
could not lose. It's every last one because they dominate. It's funny. They have the power to shut it down, and they won't. They won't.
We love you for the call, sister. Thank you, baby.
No problem, Monique. Keep it up. Please don't stop. Keep doing what you're doing.
Love you, honey.
Black Wit said, and I believe that's what it says, so please forgive me if I said the handle wrong. Colin Kaepernick is unpatriotic, but the KKK, they have some fine people.
And that is what your president said, my loves.
That's what the president said.
We're talking about it, and I want to address this young brother that's in the room because you say, what will you teach your children? If those are the thoughts that you have now, and even if you may have children. And when you say, well, people got bills to pay, so you can't make too much noise. And then you say, and why are you attacking them? And here's what I would say to you, baby. Saying what's true is not an attack. And when you say people got bills to pay, you're absolutely right. But what happens is they've got us in such a conditioning that because we got bills to pay, fuck with standing up for right. We're not going to do that because we got bills to pay and I got mine to take care of. But if you think outside of you, if you think about the next one's coming, see, this is the poison we've been fed and it's working because of the words you're using. The poison we've been fed is you got yours. Let them worry about the goddamn self. You can't think about them. And it makes me go to the baseball museum in Kansas City. It makes me go right there. And when we walk through that Negro League museum, and I tell you the brother that took us on that tour, see, we don't know our own history because the Baseball Negro League was the second highest organization in this country. And that man said these cats own their own planes, their own cars, their own homes. He said, but because they felt like white was right. The moment Jackie Robinson went over is when it shut us down. He said because when those players came into a town to play a game, everything black was sold out. Restaurants, hotels, barbershops, beauty salons, everything. But the moment Jackie Robinson went over, he said then everybody felt like, man, we got to go with the white players, not realizing financially they were making far more money than the white players. But what those white owners knew was that they were making far more money. So if we get them to come over here, we can entice them with, you'll be the first one, you'll get the money, you'll get the praise. But look what it did to us. So again, when we go to the Negro League, when we go to Kirk Flood, when we go to so many, and you still have the modern day mentality, shh, don't say nothing. Boss, we sick.
And it's all understandable because this has been happening for a very long time. So when you say you have bills to pay, what you're saying is, let's look out for now and let's forget about our children's future.
Come on, Daddy.
And what we're saying is, let's live in the future as we exist right now. Let's take one more call.
We're going to do it. Hey, my love, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this?
Hi, Auntie and Uncle. This is Remy.
Come on, man.
Take your ass in the house.
My chest is so goddamn tight. You know what? I just came back from walking my dog, and I'm reading and I'm typing, and you see me typing in all caps because let me ask you a question, Auntie and Uncle. What is 1 and 1?
I thought it was 2.
Okay, so then we can rationalize that 1 and 1 equals 2. So I don't understand why not supporting and racism and so much standing up doesn't equate to everyone. I don't. Is it just me, or is the whole goddamn world crazy? You know what? I'm sitting in the room and I'm saying, how could you even sit? I just discussed house niggas and field niggas, and you're trying to write Well, not every black man was running in the field trying to get to the goddamn Underground Railroad. The ones who had home not getting their ass beat, not having to raise their own children, were happy. Because it ain't me. So when you ask that question, you should know the answer. You should know this. History, even if the white man didn't teach you your history, you should know your history because it's in your face every day. You have a target on your back because of your color. So why would you even ask the question, why is she the only black one in Hollywood? No, they are only the only two with enough courage to run. The only two with enough courage to say, come with us. We're going to freedom. We're going to find a place better. We're going to get this right for us. They are the only ones who are trying to, you know what, I had to write back and say, Rosa Parks she went to jail so that we can ride on everything in the front, not just the damn bus, everything. You can walk to the head of a damn theater. Back in the day, my aunt just told me this yesterday. She said, when we used to go to the theater when I was a young girl, we couldn't go to the white man after fun to get a ticket. We had to go to the side door, and that black man could give us a ticket, and we still had to sit way in the back. She said the only thing was they thought they were doing us some harm and insulting us, but it was cool up there. They were sweating to death in the front while we had all the cool air in the back. Okay, so it just takes one person. One. Rosa Parks was one person. She went to jail for us. It made a difference. Hattie McDaniel was one person. She spoke up. It struck chords and auntie and uncle and then Halle Berry and whoever else black. Gabrielle Union and every other person you need to think of. It struck chords in them. Even Winfrey. It struck chords in them to strive because one person did it. I don't give a fuck if no one else ever does this again. You have made history and yes, you got bills to pay, but so did Rosa Parks. I'm pretty sure she had bills to pay, but she still went to jail because the needs of the many outweighed the needs of the few or the one. Excuse me, Captain Kirk and You know, so we can't always look at, well, we got bills. You know what? You keep looking at your bills because you know what? Auntie and uncle are going to keep fighting for us. So what you should do is appreciate instead of getting angry or not understanding. Appreciate what the struggle they are going through right now for us. Every time I get on this damn phone, and I'm sorry for cursing because I don't normally curse like yesterday. The point is, I just want to, every time I call you guys, I say the same thing at the end of every damn conversation. Thank you. Thank you. Because God knows. And I'm sitting here with tears in my eyes because I can't fucking believe it. It's like, no matter how many times we go forward, we keep going back.
And
what happened to forward together, backward never? What happened to that?
Here's the thing. Let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. So you can preserve your energy and keep that positive spirit, which I know you will keep, and not get so mad. Understand they say it takes 30 days to form a habit. We have been out of slavery less than we were in it. So we've got some time to take to make that repetition become retention so that people will start understanding what it is that's transpired. Because it's kind of like Cormier in the fight against John Jones. And after his interview, he didn't know what happened based upon what had hit him. And there are a lot of us that have been hit so hard by something that they know not what they've been hit by. So the only thing they start to lash out at is the first thing that they see. And sometimes that very thing that they see is the very thing that's trying to support them and lift them out the mire. So the words that you're speaking right now, they're in unison with what it is that we're saying. And we have to look to the individuals that are understanding and are receptive to it. And to those individuals that are not understanding, look at it as if you know someone that has an ailment and liken it to, and this is not to mock by any means, but this is to say an individual that has Tourette's. There was an individual that I know that had Tourette's, and one time he was in our presence, and my uncle and aunt were having a Bible study, and he kept saying my uncle's name and saying he's a motherfucking pimp. Okay? He kept saying his name and saying he's a motherfucking pimp. Now, nobody looked at him wrong because they knew he had Tourette's. Certain individuals that we're dealing with have an intellectual Tourette's where they're saying things and they know not what they say. And for them, there's a level of empathy and compassion that we have, and the only thing we can do is continue to show them in the examples. But that's why Harriet Tubman carried a pistol, because she knew that there was going to be some amongst them that were not going to be able to make the trip, and they would have to get a cap popped in their ass. Well, intellectually speaking, sometimes we got to pop a cap in their ass and say, you know what, we got to leave you behind and take the people that's willing to go for the ride. And we're glad we can say, sister, you coming along for the ride. And we appreciate
You know
you.
what? This is why I love clothes, guys, because you always make me feel better. And you always ground me when I'm about to fly off the handle and take my ass online and find out where these motherfuckers live. You ground me. Because, you know, that's why I call you auntie and uncle. I'm 53. I'm older than both of you. But I still call you my auntie and uncle. Because your wisdom is astounding. And your level of well, not even that, your humanity. You are, when I say humanity, I mean you're able to step outside of the box, you know, and you can see the bigger picture. I'm just so in it. I'm trying to step out, but I'm like, what the fuck? And I can't step out of it because I'm too busy turning around, you know, and in shock. But I have to stop doing that, and I have to remember that everyone is not ready. I've said that 1,000 times, but apparently I'm not looking at my own words. And thank you. Thank you both.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
I got practice. I'm married to the spirit of who you are. So this is practice for me. So we love you.
We love you,
Appreciate
baby.
I love you both too.
Okay, my baby, we get ready to take it on out and shut it on down. But Daddy, I just have to, because it's on me. And this young man in here, his handle is called The Real Prince Charming. And as you just told our sister Israel, you know, we can't get ourselves worked up because reading his comments, it's so disheartening. And it's disheartening because he said, we can't go against our help. And you would say to this black young man, who is our help? Who are you referring to? And black young man, if you have children, what are you pouring into your babies? Take crumbs? Take the mistreatment? Even when you know you're being mistreated, don't say anything? So I hear you, brother, when you're in here and you say, you know, I like Mo, but she's just setting herself up to get knocked down. If that's the case, Brother Prince Charming, if you should have a child, and if they should knock my ass down on this ride, and they never allow me to ride again, but your daughter can come home to you and say, I want to go to Hollywood, Daddy. And your daughter can come home to you and say, oh my God, I got equal pay. Then I'll take the goddamn knockdown. Then I'll take not being able. When you can't sometimes say, let me take care of my family the way I want to take care of my family. Because there's a whole lot of offers that I could have accepted. There's a whole lot of things I could have said okay to. And some of those offers came because we heard you difficult. So, bitch, we know we can offer you anything. So to you, my young brother, what I would ask of you is to know your history and find out where you come from and what you're made of. And get up off of your knees.
And what I would say to you is that if you choose not to, you still are an example. And you are an example to those that will choose to stand as to what not to do. And we appreciate you either way. So with that being said, we're going to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Monique and Sydney's Open Relationship.